What's going on, guys? It's Alric Phoenix here, bringing you the second episode of Get in the Game Industry, where we talk about how to get you into a job working in video games. On today's episode, we are going to be talking specifically about quality assurance, aka QA, aka video game testers. So, let's just dive right in. What does QA do exactly? Everyone thinks QA is all about playing video games, whereas the reality is you are not really playing video games. You are verifying that what the designers and programmers want to happen is what is happening. That means you go through the same section of a world 100, 1,000 times, often without really enjoying half of what you're doing. You're going to be doing this again and again. It's like playing your favorite game 100 times in a row. With that in mind, also, though you might think, well, I could do that if I worked on, video game X, that's my favorite video game. If you play your favorite video game 100, 1,000 times in a row, where most of it doesn't work, you inevitably hate it. I always encourage people, if they can, avoid working on a game that you really like. It ruins the game sometimes, and you never want to see it again because you played it 8,000 times. What does it mean to work in QA? It means a lot of long hours. It means very low pay. Most of the time, QA testers are paid very little. You are paid minimum wage, and even then, you still are expected to work ungodly hours. Why do people always go into QA with all this knowledge? Well, you will find that 99% of anyone that has been a producer, been a video game designer, has gone through QA nowadays. People that don't program or do artistic related things on the video game often are going through quality assurance. And it really works a lot because people learn how the video game is designed. They see the entire process from when it's just a couple programmers and a very little bit of art to where it's just about to be released to the public. So you become an absolute expert on how the video game is made, what all these little details that go into it. So while the negativity associated with it, where you are not getting a lot of pay and you're not getting a lot of respect even because people view you as expendable, you end up becoming one of the most experienced people in that company and in the game industry in general. Experience is everything when it comes to the game industry. There is no getting around that. Working in QA gets you that experience, and that experience gets you further into your career if that's what you want. So, why am I qualified? You might be saying to yourself, Al, why should I listen to you? What do you know? Well, the reality is, I've done this for many, many years. I've hired people into QA, I have trained people in QA, I have trained governments to train people into QA, so I know what I am very well talking about. You will not get into QA without a little bit of work experience, but it will be an extremely rewarding experience for you should you do it. As for how to actually get in, what kind of work experience do you need? Well, not a lot. Often a positive attitude and knowledge of video games is all that's required to get into the video game industry, into QA specifically. You don't need a university degree unless you are trying to go into QA in the software industry or manufacturing. That's about all I have to say about QA in its most general details. There's a lot of tips and tricks to testing, which I could bring up much later if someone really wants to have a commentary about that. But that's all I have to say on QA in this episode, so thank you, I hope you enjoyed, and leave me a note in the comments if you have any questions. Alright, this is Alric Phoenix, peace out, bye.